is very important to document again. For some reason, this is not linked directly to the Schulte case, but it is linked to the people who are involved in what appears to be very heavy drug trafficking with the Crag network. This I'm allowed to make sure to make this video of. There's other key information. A total of 24 people to be exact. All of them were known as art thieves. All of them except one are official members of the Crag, also in Moab, Utah. And that's what you guys need to know or be aware of about that information in those files, as well as the traffickers and people involved are being heavily deliberated in court proceedings, including the upcoming opening state courts that the state nationals are opening. Again, that's all being deliberated and discussed and reviewed. 5 people, here's where it says what's important. 5 people were arrested last week on suspicion of drug trafficking in Cortez, Colorado, after a month-long investigation by multiple law enforcement agencies. Cortez residents Lyndall and Sherry Clark, 64 and 61, and Ezekiel Biard, 26, were arrested May 15 on suspicion of distributing controlled substances, including heroin and methamphetamine. California resident Jesse Valenzuela and Romnel Aviles Reyes, age 18, were arrested on suspicion of supplying meth to Cortez, Colorado, after they were pulled over. The court appearance, originally scheduled for Wednesday, was moved all to May 30th on request of who had stated that he's waiting for the completed law enforcement report. This involves large-scale trafficking connected to the Salinas Mexican cartel. The county drug task force, which includes the sheriff's office and Cortez, Colorado Police Department, stated the trafficking investigation in November, according to a statement from Sheriff Steve Nolan, or started that investigation then. Starting in February, the agency conducted surveillance and used informants to gather evidence on people, including Clarks and Biard, suspected of supplying drugs to the Four Corners area. Now, Four Corners is important, folks, because that's an area that crosses none other than Moab, Utah. That's correct. Part of it intersects with that. According to the arrest affidavit, a witness reported to law enforcement in April that Valenzuela and another man would soon be delivering their shipment to the Clarks. A vehicle matching the witness description lost a tire near Red Mesa, Arizona on May 13th, and investigators who were tracking the Clarks' phone usage found that Lyndall Clark had called a tow truck to take the vehicle to Cortez, Colorado. Deputy Victor Galarza stopped a tow truck outside UT Mountain Casino for a traffic violation and arrested Valenzuela and each of the passengers, including Aviles Reyes. 2 handguns, including one that had been reported stolen in Montezuma County, Colorado, and a package of crystal methamphetamine were reportedly found in Valenzuela's vehicle after investigators acquired a search warrant. Montezuma County Judge Jenny Lynn Lawrence reduced Sherry Clark's bond, originally set at $100,000 to $50,000, at the request of Ray Randolph. Defense attorney Kelly McCabe said there was little evidence to suggest the 18-year-old was involved in trafficking meth, since he does not own the car and it was found, and the arrest affidavit contained no indication he had placed his car there. First stated he had other information suggesting that Aviles Reyes was a regular occupant in suspicious vehicles coming from California to the Clark's residence, but he admitted the information in the affidavit was not enough at the time. Aviles Reyes' bond was reduced to $2,500. The bonds for Valenzuela and Lyndall Clark were reduced to $75,000, and Biard's bond was reduced to $10,000 because he had no criminal history. According to the sheriff, 2 other Montezuma County residents have been arrested in connection with the drug investigation since February. Robert Sanchez was arrested April 9th, and 21-year-old Jacob Kurtarski was arrested May 1st on suspicion of selling cocaine and ecstasy. He said investigation into the local network are ongoing and he expects more arrests shortly. Both Nolan and Cortez Colorado Police Lieutenant Andy Brock said large-scale drug arrests like this one are not uncommon here. Sometimes the drug task force will give us 6 or 7 warrants in a day. So the important thing here, folks, is this took place more than 2 years before the guns are stolen. That's right outside the UT Mountain Casino, right? And of course, every single member who was arrested that's involved in this, including someone by the last name of Williamson, meaning every single member except like one of them, essentially, were also members of the Crag rock climbing network. That's correct. All of them, which I find to be very, very suspicious. Now, this is not the only thing suspicious about the investigation into Montezuma County and its connection with the Crag. There's also the fact that these people appear to be tied directly to Robert Jones in some way. That's correct. And also, on top of that, although that evidence will not be revealed on video for some time here, they were connected to this group of thieves. That's correct. Art thieves of specialized Native American artifacts and many, many different artifacts and expensive equipment from Moab and other areas of Four Corners. And every single one of those assailants were also official members of the Crag underground rock climbing network. And that's what you need to be made immediate. Your immediate attention needs to be on that, because this is very, very important, as now that a lot of their associates have been arrested by the militia and whatnot, or they are at Gitmo and similar things. It's very important to make note of the fact that every single one of these people, a few would be understandable, folks. But when you get into it and you start looking at the specifics of who these people are, and you find out every single one of them, save like 1 or 2, were official members of the Crag rock climbing network, it adds up. And it adds up to conspiracy. That's correct. It's a good word to describe it. Conspiracy to commit trafficking and intentional homicide. So thank you again. This is very important. So folks, this is very, very important in the documenting of all of the facts of this case. And I find this very interesting that the sheriff's report mentions these suspects, but does not make a causal link, of course, to the Crag rock climbing network. But once you look up and investigate the official evidence, it's confirmed the link's always been there. And so this may not in fact be linked directly to the Schulte case. However, it precipitated the Schulte case by more than 2 to 3 years. So it winds up being ultimately tied to what happens in Moab anyway. And I just wanted to comment on that for a moment. I find it very impossible to believe at this point, given the preponderance of evidence and the high weight of evidence against any other conclusion, that Officer Eric Pratt was not aware at all of these trafficking suspects or the thefts, essentially, that they had committed going on in the Four Corners area. And I also especially find it very difficult to believe because it's been confirmed on CCTV footage that he apparently deleted the photographs of Brian Laundrie and of Gabby Petito and of others who have gone through that specific area of the Arches National Park before. But yet it is captured on video footage and captured on other satellite imagery, those exact people, including a serial killer who actually comes from the state of Florida, who I won't get into for right now. But it really, at that stage, folks, becomes impossible for me to personally believe that Officer Eric Pratt would not have known about who was stealing the guns from Cortez, Colorado, and specifically who was trafficking in arms and under the table shipments of interesting products throughout Cortez into Moab and into the region of Four Corners. I find that very, very improbable, in fact, impossible to believe. And so that's, again, folks, this is why you need to get this stuff out there and spread it far and wide, because indeed, why is the Crag now officially known as apparently a trafficking hotspot that included more than 20 suspects who were arrested for stealing official artifacts and stealing things from various vehicles in the Four Corners area and in Moab. So thank you once again. Make sure to spread the news, like, comment, subscribe. More to come.